And greetings everyone. In today's video, I am going to perhaps introduce you to two YouTubers from out of Great Britain. Some of you already know them, and the point of this video is to say peace, to cry peace. Now, I am fully aware that everything is not as it seems on social media. So sometimes when you are sharing your opinion, you have to be very wary that you don't know what's happening behind the stage. You know, the whole world is a big stage these days, and so you tread cautiously. But I want to talk about this because there's so many parts of this storyline that touches me on an emotional level. And this is why I'm putting in my input. Now, I'm addressing Mummy Fabulous and Renee, okay, from RF Fabulous. I just drew a blank just now. So this is a mother and daughter duo. And I have spoken to Renee on this platform before because I like this young girl. And I enjoy listening to Mummy Fabulous as well. I think it's Renee who put on her mom and her family on social media. And so I started watching Mummy Fabulous. I started watching your channel because of your daughter Renee. And what I'm seeing, assuming this is not a part of the performance, things between you and your daughter seems to be escalating. And before I say anything more, I just want you both to understand that you both have your own followers. And I want to remind you that people come on social media for different reasons. Those who present, as is the case with you and your daughter Renee, and those who consume, people who watch you. Some come because they need an escape. Some people come because they're looking for the opportunity to release. And release means that sometimes people share their opinions or their ideas depending on what you're talking about and how it affects them. So if you're sharing a sad story, persons can identify with this sad story, and it's an opportunity for them to say, you know what, I am not alone in this. And then there are those who want to release their rage on somebody because they're not very happy for whatever reason, and so they look for a face and they get behind the keyboard, and they are not able to do this in their regular life. They're not able to confront the persons in their life that are causing them pain and suffering, and so they look for an outlet. They look for somebody that they can take it out on. And these are the people who make videos would refer to as haters or trollers, or you know, whatever they call people who, you know, go on social media and bother other people. So because the gamut is wide as far as why people come to social media in presenting or consuming. So because of that, as a mother and daughter, you have to understand that there are individuals now who are going to be happy to see that you're having problems. So there are going to be people who naturally gravitate towards the drama, you know, to fill their void or to fill their day or to be entertained. For the most part, people go on social media to seek entertainment. But for me, the tension between mother and daughter is not entertaining, and I don't want to bring judgment to it. I just want to remind both of you, Renee and Mommy Fabulous, that you're family. Okay? And I always hear you say, Mommy Fabulous, that I love my 5 children. Okay? And I've heard Renee talk about her love for her brothers. And she said it in videos with you, Mother, Mommy Fabulous. So the story of her caring for her sibling cannot be a lie, because it's one that she's told and one that you have told to Mommy Fabulous. So again, I'm treading cautiously because I don't know if you both have decided to work with this storyline and this is a genuine. But if it's not a storyline, I'm going to say try to find a way to handle these differences of social media. Now, at the same time, it's so easy for people to say this when someone could be going through deep emotional pain, and for that person, their fans or their supporters are the people who they are able to talk about their problems with and somehow find release, because I have done that. You know, talk to random strangers and it's like free therapy. But I'm not going to encourage it if I see that people on both sides of the divide don't understand when it comes to mother and daughter. The least you say, the better. Okay, because as parents, we know sometimes we get into it with our daughters. And some of the exchange between daughter and mother can kind of be harsh. But when you're doing it privately, it's a whole different thing. You can forgive and move on. But when it's done publicly, there's going to be resentment, especially for somebody who's hurting. And I don't think you need magnifying glass to see that Renee is hurting. And so, Mommy Fabulous, you have to be very careful. While you want to address these issues with your daughter, you have to be cognizant of the fact that she has deep emotional scars. And a lot of Jamaican parents do not understand depression. They do not understand these emotional traumas that people go through. In general, from our country of Jamaica, people don't quite understand mental illness. They think that it's something that you could just shake off and move on and, you know, get over. And it's not that simple. Sometimes you might disapprove of some of the things that Renee is doing, but you fail to realize that sometimes she's making these choices or these decisions because she's hurt inside. And so I can't take the position to say, you know, this young lady shouldn't speak her mind, or that you for your own purpose shouldn't speak your mind. But I'm saying, as a mom, try to protect her, because she's crying out, and she's been crying out for a long time, Mommy Fabulous. She's been crying out for a long time. And sometimes when you are the child, you know, what you're feeling, the parents might not understand. You love your daughter, Mommy Fabulous, but there are things that she might be dealing with that you don't understand. And so on the surface, you know, you might say, well, just move along, when it's not that easy. On the surface, she feels that when you talk about her on social media, she feels betrayed. Perhaps so many people in her life have betrayed her. So many people that she has loved over the years have just caused her a lot of hurt. And so regardless of your secret disagreements with each other or fights, she wants you to be the mom that no matter what's happening, you will not say anything that's going to cause strangers who already do not like her to come and put their input, because it's not like these strangers are agreeing with you. They just don't like Renee. So they'll agree with you, because anyone who's going to encourage you to say negative things about your daughter, or her to say negative things about you, Mommy Fabulous, these are not good people. These people do not care about you. People who care about both of you are going to say, you know what, I hear what you're saying, Mommy Fabulous, but think about your daughter and try to work it out privately. People say the same thing to Renee as well. But when you're making videos, you know, and saying things to her, knowing that there are people who do not like her, that give them ammunition. It does give them ammunition to come out and say negative things. Whereas you might be doing it for one purpose without any ill intention, Mommy Fabulous, people can misread that and run with it. And nowadays, people are not peacemakers. You know, there are people who are carrying their own internal pain. Some girls have terrible relationship with their moms. And so when they see Renee talking about her hurt or, you know, the tension between you, those girls are going to automatically join in and try to drag you, Mommy Fabulous, because it's personal. It's kind of the same like when women see men cheat on somebody that they see on social media. They get so angry. It's not because they care about the person who was cheated on. They care about it because it's happening to them. So they're reflecting or projecting what they're going through. And so these individuals will not cry peace. They'll be very angry and they'll encourage Renee to speak. And I think she should speak, you know, because the last thing you want is for her to keep those feelings bottled inside and something terrible happens. Mom, you have to listen. And after this, make no more videos about your daughter. You can talk in general, but be careful, because there seems to be an issue with your family. And instead of thinking about just stress, maybe there's some genetics going on here, because your two sons are suffering with mental illness. And there are times when Renee says, I am going through, you know, these feelings of depression. So genetics can play a large role. And though you might not know what it's like to feel these deep emotional scars or pain, Mommy Fabulous, it doesn't mean that they're not true for your daughter. So you have to be so cautious. And I'm going to say to the people who are both watching both Mommy Fabulous and Renee, to just be very cautious about what you're saying and to leave Renee alone. She's a human being. She has feelings, and she has hurt feelings that she sometimes does not share with the public, even though she's, you know, act as if she's so strong. And some of the people who act very strong are very vulnerable, and you could say things to them that could really tip them over the edge. That's why, Mom, you have to think about this. Call your daughter and have private conversations with her. And if there are struggles that you want to talk about, the struggle between mother and daughter and how difficult that can be sometimes, do it together, so that people don't get the impression that you're fighting with each other. Do it together and have those discussions, you know, the difficulty. You know, come face to face. And if you want to share that with the world, there are other people who go through these things too. But when you make a video over here and she feels she has to respond to the video over here, you know, it's just, it gives off this bad vibes. And again, if it is to generate interest on both channels, you know, do your thing. But if it's real, if you're both really having this social media disagreement, it's something you might want to think about. And Renee, if this is real, you need to heal. And sometimes healing just means that, you know, you just remove yourself and try to figure it out. You see, I see comments under Renee's video with individuals. You guys, some of you people, you really are too invested in people who you don't really know. And invested, what I'm saying, if I'm going to listen to this storyline, I have no reason to curse Mommy Fabulous, and I have no reason to disrespect you know, Renee. It's not my personal beef. It's not my personal problem for me to be so angry at either one of them. The point is to encourage them to try to find a way. And Mommy Fabulous, sometimes our kids have feelings. Sometimes we do things without intention to do wrong, but we do. As parents, we're not perfect. And especially when we depend on our children, you know, we make them this source of support to us. Sometimes we can overdo it. Sometimes we can push the boundaries. We can ask so much of them, and they don't have the courage to say, you're asking too much of me. All right, so when they have the courage to step away and say, I need this time, I cannot do this, you just have to be patient, you have to be understanding, and you have to just let them know I appreciate you and I don't intend to put too much burden on you. If I have done that, Mommy Fabulous, you can say, if I have done that, I'm sorry. Because we're not perfect as parents. We sometimes do things to our kids unwittingly. Renee, I just think you're in a period where you need to escape, where you need to heal. And I can't judge you. I understand what you're saying. The only thing I'm going to say, if it's possible for you guys, just to, if you can't reconcile at the moment and you need to take a break from each other, that's okay too. A lot of moms and their daughters have gone through these different things, but you will eventually work things out. At least that's my hope. You will eventually get to the point where you have this understanding between both of you to say, you know what, I have my boundaries and I'm putting my boundaries up. I want to protect my heart and my feelings and so on and so forth. Renee, you can do that. That's okay. And Mommy Fabulous, if your daughter said, don't talk about me on social media. Don't talk about me because I have enemies. And when they hear you, it's a fuel. Then to maintain that peace between you and your daughter, you just don't do it. Unless you're coming together to discuss this in a session where you talk about how you work through your differences. Other than that, I don't have much more to say except, you know, peace. Let peace be still. And, you know, to emphasize that it's so easy for things to go left. And to tell people who are watching to say, you know what, take it easy. You know, these two persons are emotionally involved with each other, their family, their blood. And so when it comes to mother and daughter affair, I am always very cautious about what I say because I'm a mother too. And you're not always going to agree with your children or your children's decision, and they're not always going to like the way you go about things, and you might contribute to their pain and suffering without even trying to do that. So we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You know, all the best to you, Renee and Mommy Fabulous. Try to work this out and do not feed the hungry lions, because they like this kind of thing. They want to see you fight because they're fighting behind the scenes. They want to see you hurt because they're hurting. They want to see tension because that's all they feel in their daily lives. You understand? So even if I see things that I could take one side over the other, I'm not going to do that. Okay? All the best to you, Renee. Take good care of yourself. Mommy Fabulous, I hope everything works out with your children and you find a way to get close to your daughter and to listen to her. Listen to her when she speaks. You know, any hurt feeling she has, you guys can work it out. But you have to listen. Because part of the healing, I suspect, would start at home. You know, there are things that you might have done, Mommy Fabulous, that might have contributed to her pain in some way. All you got to do, listen to what she's saying. You know, you might feel offended, but sometimes just listen. And all you need to say is, I'm sorry. Sometimes that's all it needs for the person to be able to move on. When people have trauma in their life, sometimes it starts at home. And whether it be from the family being divided or broken up, or whatever, there's deep traumas that needs to be healed. And if you don't heal it in a family setting, you know, it gets worse when you're going out there to meet other person, you know. All right, anyway, all the best to you both. Stay blessed, everyone.